now.
Assalamualaikum guys, we are joined here with MJli, 3 times world Kung Fu champion. How are you doing, sir?
你好吗？我有打剑里马后南非说做门的 Kungfu. It's also the year of the earthly dog. We say to all Chinese people living across the planet, Xinjin Kuai Le.
So MJ, tell us, I recently heard that you're taking 18 students abroad to Hong Kong. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, this is actually a very important project. It's a culmination of working with schools across the province for 1 year, where I did a 55 school tour, traveling across the province, doing motivational talks, Kung Fu demonstrations, and then I offered up my time for the entire year 2017 free. And I said I'm prepared to adopt 8 schools and teach kids the basics of Kung Fu absolutely free. And then we started training. Kids then got involved in Kung Fu, were introduced to the basics. Over 700 kids were busy training, right? And then as a result of the 700, probably about 160 still continue training every single day throughout the week, Mondays through to Saturdays. And then I identified a group of 18 kids, man, from the Cape Flats, from Cape Town, from the Western Cape. And they are going on a very special trip. 13th of March, we leave for Hong Kong, and they will compete at the 16th annual Hong Kong International Kung Fu Wushu Championships. Not World Championship, because that for me is still later on in the year in August in China. Yeah, we're excited, but still some of the kids, 3 of my students are still battling, to raise funds, and hopefully, people can, look at them very kindly, reach deep within their hearts and make a contribution, because this is ultimately about the kids realizing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Going to Hong Kong, 9,000 athletes, 52 countries actually sending athletes, and they will make history.
Yeah.
This is the first South African youth Kung Fu squad in the history of Kung Fu in South Africa to ever go to Hong Kong for this tournament. So those faces must be remembered. People can forget my face. They must remember those faces, because they are on the verge of making history.
And tell us, from what schools are they?
Different schools. I adopted 8 schools. Paul, Wellington, Mitchell's Plain, Lansdowne, Windsor, Mohammedia, Cedar Primary. Those are the 8 schools that I've adopted. I must also say, when I get back from Hong Kong with the squad, I will continue to work with our youth, and I will continue to give back. Perhaps not to the degree as was the case in 2017, because I have to prepare also for the Legends of Kung Fu World Championship in August in China and the Africa Championships in Morocco. But I will continue to work with our youth. But I want to actually appeal to South Africans, Cape Townians, to consider contributing towards funding these 3, because they are really, really battling. They come from disadvantaged backgrounds, one from Bonteheuwel, one from Guguletu, the other from Khayelitsha, and they need funds to get to Hong Kong. So we are hosting a comedy fundraiser. So a couple of Cape comics are going to unite for a Kung Fu cause. I just thought about it right now. Okay. Hopefully it sounds okay. But what's going to happen is the likes of Phil De Lange, Dalen Oliver, Mel Jones, Angel Campy, Lindy Johnson, they're coming together to host a comedy night on Saturday at Wynberg High School, the 24th of Feb. Tickets are selling at 120 rands per person. I know food and refreshments will also be sold at the venue, but it's ultimately about raising funds for Sinawo, for Angelo Njobe, and Tawfiq Weingart.
Okay, perfect. So how will people get involved? How will they purchase the tickets?
They can purchase the tickets directly, not from me, from MJli Management. There are 2 numbers that they can either call or WhatsApp, 082 454 3027 or 081 711 1211. I know there are still tickets available. We're a couple of days from this comedy fundraiser, and I really want to urge and appeal to Cape Townians to really come out and support the fundraiser.
Where is the comedy fundraiser going to be?
It's taking place at Wynberg High School.
Okay.
Starting at 8 p.m. Okay, and 5 comics and comedians, talented sons and daughters from Cape Town, are coming together, and they're doing this specifically for 3 of my athletes that need funds. We are also hosting a school's Kung Fu tournament the following weekend on the 3rd of March at the same venue, also Weinberg High School, at about 9:30 in the morning. It's classified as a Furious 5 schools Kung Fu competition. So there will be Team Snake, Team Monkey, Team Crane, Team Eagle, Team Panda, and they're going to be competing against each other. We're doing it proper Kung Fu Panda style, but the way we would do it in Cape Town and South Africa. So people must also come out and support that.
Definitely. I know since you're representing South Africa, I think it's very important for us all to unite for this good cause, you know, to support you and show you that South Africa is behind you. I mean, it's an amazing thing that you're doing. Tell us more about Jet Li, because I know there's a little story behind it.
Okay.
Tell us more about that.
Jet Li was obviously given the stage name. Number one, Jet Li is not an actor exclusively. He became an actor, like Jackie Chan. Jet Li he is known by his Cantonese and Mandarin name, actually his name of birth, Li Lien Ji. If that is translated into English, he's just known as Jack Li. Remember Jack and Jill?
Yeah.
Right? Jack Li. Okay, so Jet Li trained at the Beijing Wushu College. He became an Asian champion 5 times in the 70s. Okay, even way before I was born. But I idolized him growing up, as I idolized Bruce Lee and even Jackie Chan. So he retired from international competitions in the late 70s, early 80s, and then he obviously started making movies. So when they made Shaolin Temple and Kids of Shaolin Temple, which perhaps people saw on VHS back in the days, I know it has been digitally remastered now, which is good because it's like old classics. So he was to then use a style of Kung Fu in the movie known as Eagle's Claw or Fan Zi Chuan, and he did not know the style. No one in Beijing could teach him the style either. So they sent Li Lianji, Jet Li, they sent him to an area in the north of China known as Xi'an. And he then spent 3 months in the company of one of the greatest modern day Kung Fu masters, Grandmaster Shifu Ma Xian Da. He was a Chinese Yui Muslim. And he had trained over 10,000 Wushu and Kung Fu athletes, regionally, nationally, continentally, and even worldwide. I had the honor of actually meeting him and spending time with him for 3 weeks. He passed away a couple of years ago, but an amazing individual. And Jet Li spent 3 months in the company of Grandmaster Ma Xianda, learning the art of Fan Zi Chuan, Eagle's Claw. And then several years later, many people watched the movie, epic movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The sword choreography that was demonstrated throughout that movie, the entire cast and supporting cast was sent also to Xi'an, and they were then taught the basics of Jianshu, which is straight sword choreography, by the same man, Grandmaster Ma Xianda. So the history of Wushu and Kung Fu amongst Chinese Muslims over the centuries is immense. There's a treasure house that has been preserved, and at some point Kung Fu in the late 16th century would have become extinct if it was not for Chinese Muslims actually preserving the art of Kung Fu. And there's obviously a lengthy story. Facebook Live, we don't have enough time. And the platform, perhaps some other time.
Inshallah.
Perhaps some other time.
But you know, it's amazing to think of how much Islamic origin China actually has. And to think our local representatives from Langa, from Wellington, from Guguletu, all of that will have the opportunity to represent South Africa over there. It's crazy, and I think you all should dig deep into your pockets and really support this amazing cause. Shukran so much, MJli, for coming to on Facebook Live with us, and we hope inshallah we're going to do a follow-up series with you when you return back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.